Whoa, and just like that, we're live. Grace,
We're live.
Grace. I see you're finishing up your dinner there. You're eating
Uh-huh.
halfway through your dinner as
That's
the
right.
show was getting started. Listen, Grace, I
Mhm.
ate 4 cans of alphabet soup yesterday.
That sounds awesome.
It was awesome, but then I probably had the biggest vowel movement ever.
Oh my gosh.
Get it?
I get it. That was
Oh,
a good one.
I'm
That was,
hilarious.
that is hilarious. That was a
That
good
was a
one.
good one. Was that better than my facts that I've been doing?
It was. Yeah, I like it.
I got kind of a fact for you though. So you're
Oh
gonna
my gosh. Okay.
A major new study just found that humans eat more bananas than monkeys.
Okay.
And it is true. I can't remember the last time I ate a monkey.
That's right. Me neither.
Get it? Why are you not
Yeah.
laughing? All right.
It was just delayed. It was just delayed. It was there.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do next, Grace. I'm running out of ideas here. I'm struggling.
You're doing great. I love it.
You want to start the show or I have
Yeah.
more stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start it up.
All right. Grace, you stayed home this weekend and didn't race 50 miles, which seems kind of shady. Let's figure out why on episode number 80. I'm Eric, Idiot Runner Kosek.
And I'm Grace, Hot Pants Langheim. Eric is all business in the front of the pack, and I am all about the party in the back.
That's right, business up front and party in the back. Together, we are the Running Mullet.
And we are going to talk about every aspect of running, the podium to the DNF and everything in between.
If you are a runner, this show is for you. Now sit back, get out your foam roller, and enjoy the party. Ooh, I was too worried about my jokes that I forgot to get the button ready to play our intro there. So it was a little delayed, but
It was perfect.
yeah. Oh, Monday night, episode 80. What is
Episode 80.
how many weeks is a year and a half? 52.
Yeah.
I'm not good at math right now.
Math is hard.
Well, how many episodes is a year and a half?
A lot.
How many half a years? 30.
36 plus 52.
We're not there yet. We're almost there. A couple more,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. We're getting close.
Yeah, but 80 is a pretty cool number. That's a lot of nonsense of shows with nonsense.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I mean, just like you, I didn't really do a ton. It was beautiful weather. Got a couple runs in. Nothing crazy. Nothing really to report. About you?
Yeah, same. I didn't have much going on. I was just kind of kicking back and watching other people do awesome things. Jen DeVore finished her first 50 miler.
All right. Well, I guess we're jumping into Pine Creek Challenge recap real quick.
Well, I say that because your gals, two of your gals at least, two of you, the three of your gals had was it the weekend they had the invitational?
Oh, my actual gals. Yeah, that was Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, Lauren, this was real quick, like there's a lot of in-season meets with dual meets with other schools around the area, which we're going to treat more as like training days. But this was one meet is a little bigger, had like 6 or 8 schools, and it's right at the beginning of the season. So I told Lauren, I'm like, look, our focus is on the end of season districts and getting to states and hopefully medaling at states. That's what she's trained for. That's what she wants to do. But I said, here, you're at the beginning of the season. This is a perfect meet for you to let loose, kind of make a statement, kind of put yourself out there and see what you've done training wise. And then we'll back off the rest and keep training. And she did just that. And it was exactly what I anticipated. Like she's been putting in 50-mile weeks, Grace, for a good part of the summer. And she's healthy and she's loving it. And so it's going to back off now that we're in the season of cross country. Naturally, she just can't put that many in with school and meets and stuff.
Yeah.
But she took a minute and a half off her time from last year and she won it last year. everything we can see, it was the fastest time on that course for a female, and she's a sophomore. Like, whoa. So yeah, it was pretty exciting.
That is exciting. 1.5 minutes is huge. That is
5K.
really difficult.
Casey, I got to give a shout out to Casey too. She's middle school, and nobody wants to care about middle school cross country for some reason. But yeah, Casey's killing it. She took a minute off her time, and that's 1.5 miles.
Wow.
Here, and got second overall. So yeah, it's really exciting.
That is exciting, man. What a great weekend.
Yeah. So anyway, Pine Creek Challenge. I want to give a shout out. We'll start with the 100 milers. This is just people I know that I scrolled through. Make sure. I just want to say good job. Sam Hurlbutt finished 100, her hundo at the Pine Creek Challenge. If anybody doesn't know what the Pine Creek Challenge is, it's on the Pine Creek Rail to Trail, Pancake Flat, out and back a couple times to Blackwell, back to Wellsboro, basically, to make it easy for everybody. But yeah, there's different distances. Georgetta Frederick, who we're going to have on this coming next Monday.
Yep,
right?
Next Monday we'll have her on. Yep.
She finished the 100 miler also. 100K, Monica Miller. A lot of people on here know Monica Miller. She destroyed the 100K, and then the 50 miler, Jen DeVore, my girl Alicia Hare, and Donald Hall. We've had on before.
Yes.
Congrats to all of them.
Absolutely. It was exciting to see everybody's photos from the weekend and lots of big accomplishments. Of course, we wanted to have Dan Lamore on, and he had an emergency come up, so he was not able to come on tonight. So we're going to have him on in the future. And he was also at the Pine Creek Challenge over the weekend.
Yeah. I don't know if there are any other races this past weekend that we should have known about or would have known about, but that's about it. That's about all I got. You got anything?
I know there were other things happening, and I'm too excited about tonight's guest.
Hold on. Yeah, I am too. But Don, who he just mentioned, finished the 50 miler. That was his 60th 50-mile finish.
Of course it is.
He's tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, Don. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Don has had a triple bypass.
Yeah.
Triple bypass, and still has just finished his 60th 50 miler. So he will taunt you if he passes you, just so you know.
Yeah. Here's to 60 more 50-mile finishes, Don.
Yeah.
60. And Gabe just popped in. He mentioned that the Smallfoot Kids race was this past weekend, which was the third in a series of kids races put on
That's right.
in the series. I don't know how to say, but anyway, amazing events for kids 12 and under, I believe. Free to kids 12 and under, and super fun. So if you have kids, get them to these events.
Yeah, the next one I believe is Little Pine 5 miler. That one's coming up. And that reminds me, since you said Smallfoot kids race, not that it's a kids race, but this past weekend, that was the big one we had locally, was the Sasquatch 5K and 10K for the Natural Farmlands Preserve and Trust. So it has a good turnout, a good few hundred people turn out, and it's always good to see races like that with a great cause.
Did you see was Sasquatch there?
Sasquatch was there. I was not. I didn't go. No. I stuck myself at home for the first time since June.
Oh, poor Hubs. Poor Hubs. All right. Let's get back to you introing our guest. How's that?
Yes. We have on Shannon Mick. We're going to bring on Shannon. Yay! We are really excited to have you on. And so here's the backstory of this. Eric and I were trying to plan out the next couple of weeks because there's some people,
which is new to us. We're not planners, and this was like we're like, let's do the right thing and maybe try to plan out. Yeah,
we'll see how it goes. And so there's just been some people who've had some huge accomplishments recently. Georgetta, Jess Eager, and we're like, well, we should get it. And then up pops on Facebook your huge accomplishment, Shannon. And Eric's like, oh, we gotta have Shannon on. And but now we can't because now we're trying to plan. And then last minute you said that you could join us. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I was excited to get your message last night. I'm like, oh, that works out for me.
Yeah. So, I mean, the one thing we talk about with this show too is like the people doing these huge things such as you did. We want to have that on as soon as possible after you did it, not like a month later, which life happens. Yeah, exactly. You might not remember some stuff and it's just not fresh and it didn't just happen. So, but it's on the flip side, it's tough to schedule everything like that too when you have other people you want to talk to. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So Temptation 200K. What the heck is that? And why? Why?
Yeah. I had no idea what I was getting into. Okay. I didn't even find the race. I blame this one on my husband because his airline points were expiring. So he was looking, doing his research and stuff, of course, on Ultra sign up. Where can we fly to that, our points will get us there and then back? And it just happened to be Illinois, in the middle of nowhere, Illinois. Which is also near my mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, and brother-in-law.
Nice. So
we were in Wisconsin for a part of it. So it was kind of like a little family vacation, but for me, a lot of my time was in the middle of nowhere, Illinois, in this park that, oh my gosh, I don't want to bash the park because it's so unique. But at the same time, I could see why the race was, it was brutal. It's Sand Ridge State Forest, if anyone wants to look it up. Okay. Of course, race directors would see that little golden nugget in the middle of Illinois and be like, let's do a race here. Yeah, it's so awful. When I was researching the course, like trying to find anything on this race because it was 6 years old this year, I couldn't find anything. No race reports, nothing on it. So I was looking up hiker videos of people in the park. So I watched a couple and I noted in the videos there were no other hikers, no campers, because there's 2 campgrounds there. Nothing. And they were complaining of the bugs and, just the sand on the trail. And I'm thinking, great, when I was there at the race and, you start the race in the dark, can't see anything good. Okay. The sun comes up, then you can see. And literally what crossed my mind was, I see why no one was here hiking. I see why you are the only person here filming this. And here we were. And I was thinking, man, this is not where I want to be right now. Like, this is not the trail race I wanted to do. Because, like in Pennsylvania, we have the rocks, lots of rocks and roots, technical, lots of hills and stuff like that. And you're usually cussing out the rock by the time you're halfway through the race, right?
Sure. So
one big rock on the side of the trail, literally this entire race. And then there was gravel at the Oak Campground, which was the start and finish line. But anyway, so that kind of gives you a little picture. It's a very inhospitable land in the middle of nowhere. I must say, we had cell phone reception somehow. Okay.
All right, so let's back up. Like, this is obviously a looped race, right?
It's a loop race, yes.
Okay. How long is the loop?
Okay, so it's a 15.6 mile loop. And each loop, you do a washing machine style. So you finish one loop, then you turn around, you go back the way you came.
Okay.
And so, what's that?
Go ahead.
Okay. The race theme, so the Temptation theme, there are different race distances. So everybody who registers goes under the 200K distance.
Okay.
And you can drop out whenever you want. However, if you want to drop out, you have to drop out at either 100K, 150K. All right. Otherwise, you're going to DNF. So let's say you're at 150K, you decide to go for the 200K, but then you drop out, you don't get any reward at all. So no 100K buckle. Yeah. And
now I am also a Midwesterner at heart. So I'm originally from Michigan, and I go back home every once in a while. Well, I go back home pretty often. I was just there last weekend. And I had this exact same experience on a trail in Michigan. I was there. It was like July or something, July or August. It was late in the year. And I went back and I was like, oh, I'll get a training run in. Let me hit the trails. And nobody was at this campground. And I'm like, how is nobody here? Beautiful trails. Like there's hardly any rocks. It's nice and runnable. There's no hikers. There's no bikers. And it's like 10 a.m. Like there should be people out there. Nobody's there. And I figured out why. And it was because the bugs were so bad. I could not stop for 2 seconds to tie my shoe without getting swarmed with mosquitoes and black flies and gnats and like everything. People in Pennsylvania think that the bugs are bad, and they are, it is like heaven here compared to the Midwest.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this was my first race in the Midwest, and I had the bug spray by the end of the race, because the race was 8 loops, and I believe is on loop 7 or 8. I was handed a cloth to wash my face, and there was no point of the bug spray anymore. The aid station worker was like, you're a bug's favorite snack at this point, sweat and just whatever. I
actually gave up on that run, and I just hit the road back. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I was just like practically crying back to my car. Yeah. It was terrible. Oh my gosh. Okay. So
bad.
So you travel back to the Midwest, you're doing this 15-ish mile loop, and I've heard of this race before. I think they've talked about it on 10 Jump Miles before.
I saw him there, Steven.
Did you? Nice.
He was at an aid station on my last loop.
Awesome. I thought they had something to do with it. They've at least promoted it before. So great group of folks. And so I thought I had heard about it before. Sounds like terrible, but also a lot of fun. So there's probably how many people total? Probably like 80, 100.
I'm not sure total. So I went on I had to do like my little research thing on Ultra Sign Up and kind of just count through the distances of who. Let me see if I can find it real quick on my phone. I might have written it down. It was not as many people as I thought. I thought around 50 people total.
Wow. Okay.
Let's see if I wrote it down or not.
Yeah. So
you were the first. What were you, the first finisher of the 200K ever?
Yeah. Of the women ever. That's what the race directors told me. Yeah, the first woman to finish, and then I took first overall. Okay, so there were 33 runners total. 24 were tempted and stopped at 100K. 3 stopped at 150K. And 6 started working towards 100K, but only me and Rob finished.
Wow.
So that's why it's called Temptation. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense to me. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
I like that. I like that idea. I mean,
it's a cool format.
It is. Yeah.
Because and just to clarify, like they have, for example, 150K distance, but the loop is 15 miles. So you could go out for your next loop, but you actually have to finish 2 more loops to be considered a finisher. So you either have to say, I'm done at the 150K, or you become potentially a DNF for the 200K, a DNF for the entire thing.
Right. Yes. Oh yeah. It's brutal. And, on top of that, the theme of the race. So we have the temptation theme I'll show you the buckle here. with like the snake wrapped around the apple.
Oh, that looks so awesome.
Yeah, I was really motivated to get this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the temptation theme, everything was spot on. So we had the aid stations, you know, Stairway to Heaven, Highway to Hell,
Oh, cool.
Purgatory, Devil's Aid Station, like just fun names like that. And then, you know, people like in the daytime were dressed up like ready to give baptisms at one aid station in the morning, and then like exorcisms at night. So it wasn't like over the top, but
Sure.
it was just enough. And the signage as well for the course, like Devil's Calling, this is the shittiest part of the race. Oh, well, no kidding. It's like sand this deep.
Oh.
And it's double track, but you're like, so the odd number loops where you're going one direction, you're
Mhm.
going up these hills in the sand, and it's like trying to walk up a sand dune.
Ugh.
And it's just, you learned how to navigate and step the course the longer that you're on it. And of course, I started, you know, sort of like, because it's double track, like on single track, we don't get to, you know, go on the inside of the bend
Mhm.
to save us steps. Well, on this course, I was like, all right, yeah, you know, it just became natural to take the shortest path through everything. But at the same time, you're dealing with the sand. And I don't want to forget to mention the prickly pear cactus, and the burrs,
Yeah.
these like viney jagger things that kept like getting wrapped around my shoes.
Oh man.
So all this just random ant hills, like all these things that just feel like they're out to kill you.
Yeah. And if you're not from the Midwest, you might not realize this. There's a lot of sand dunes out there. The whole area used to be covered by glaciers, and it is very sandy in not the entire Midwest, but definitely around the lakes.
So what are we talking about, like elevation gain per loop?
Oh man, it's between 800 and 900. So it's not much, but the sand makes up for it. And they made that very clear on the race website. You know, they call the sand the tank trap or whatever, you know, something like that. And how in ultras, you know, we'll hike the bigger hills. Well, in this, you're going to end up hiking the sand traps.
Ugh.
So it doesn't matter that it's like basically a flat course. So it has between 6,000 and 7,000 feet total, but that doesn't, you know, you're just working different muscles.
Yeah, that's a completely different challenge. And I think muscles that here in Pennsylvania, we're just not used to using, like your tibialis, you know, like the front of your legs are now going to be burning. And you have some great perspective on this too. So just kind of going back through your resume, you've just got some awesome races. It seems, I want to ask you about this, but first I'm going to tell the listeners a little bit about some of the races that you've done, because you did some cool ones on your list. So you've got JFK, of course, the JFK 50 miler, Badwater Cape Fear, a couple times, North Face, Bull Run.
Yes.
Baker, which I just did year 2. So I'm excited. I have one more to go. And you've done Burning River and Mohican. So you've got a really cool, and I think you've done Heiner in the past. Is that right? So you've got some other.
No, I didn't.
You were there.
Yeah, I was there. I was cheering on my husband.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have a good feeling for Pennsylvania trail races.
Yes.
And but you've gone some other places. You know, you've been to Ohio, Virginia, and had a nice little selection of trail races. And so what are the races, the kinds of races that you really love and you love to sign up for? Because this one, I mean, is it always just flight points? Is that that's a great way to choose a race, but
I like the unique ones. So like OSSCIA in Virginia, that's a night race. So that was interesting. Okay. We ran through a thunderstorm that night. Yeah, that was wild. anything that sounds like it's going to be very challenging or very adventurous that catches my eye, and I stick to the 50-mile distance and up. And that's kind of just my area of what the stuff I really enjoy doing. And I know that I'm going to go into it challenged.
Nice. So
Yeah.
you love a good challenge. You love some of the unique ones. I think you've got a cool resume. So what helped you get through Temptation 200K?
Oh man. Okay. So honestly, I wanted to drop at the 100K when most everybody else was dropping. Because I was like, this is awful. Like, I don't want to be out here. This trail's kind of ugly too. What am I doing? But I knew I knew I signed up to run 124 miles, and I'm just like, that's what I'm going to do. It's going to suck worse to quit than to keep going. It's like, then that's going to hang over you the rest of your life. It's like, no, you're not going to, like, no matter what happens, you're not going to give this up. You're not going to give into it. That's really, silly. I was feeling fine pretty much the entire race up until, mile 80 or so. So there was really no reason at any point to drop out, even though I really wanted to. And everything was just torturous as far as the environment goes. And I had a pacer, Michael, who, I work for my running coach. So I'm an assistant coach and a success coach for our clients. Awesome. And so, yeah, my client and friend, Michael, drove all the way up from Virginia Beach.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was literally one of my main reasons. Yeah. To just keep going. I'm like, you got to do it for him. He's traveling all the way up here. And, when he was actually pacing me at the time, and I was like, yeah, I want to drop out at 100K. He turns around and he's like, I think you have 200K in you. Yeah. He's like, I believe you can do it, Yeah. And I remember that. And that was a really great moment to hear that from him. And he actually ended up doing about 50 miles total with me. Wow. And then my husband did 50K or so with me as well. So that was awesome. Wow. But yeah, man, yeah. So between just not wanting to let myself down and Michael and everyone else who supports me, that was kind of enough reason to get me through it. I'm trying to think if anything else really stood out as far as just, I mean, I really like I'm going to say I like to suffer and try to push the puzzle, that we kind of have to figure out in ultras. That's a lot of fun to me. The fact that for about 2 or so hours, probably around, I don't know, it might have started around 60 miles or so. My stomach was just not really wanting to eat, and you got to eat anyway, but it wasn't feeling like it was digesting things. I've never really had that issue before. And then I noticed as I kept eating, I was having trouble chewing and then actually swallowing the food because I was like just gagging on it at that point. Mile 79, I figure it was because of the exertion of just working really hard all day and being exhausted all day and all night. I threw up at mile 79 for the first time ever in an ultra, and honestly, it was the best thing ever. It was like, wow. And then after I threw up, I took a short little break from eating, and then I started eating again. I was like, hey, nice. I figured that out. It was kind of exciting. Like, I don't know.
Another little piece of the puzzle. Now, what were you eating during the race? What did you find was working for you, at least during most of it?
Oh, it was, I mean, all the aid station junk food, hammer gels, all of the usual. I'm vegan and I had like maybe 3 grilled cheese sandwiches. That was probably the only non-vegan thing I ate.
Mm.
Yeah, lots of fruit. I like fruit. It was,
Mm.
it was definitely the banana that did me in. I was eating a banana seconds before I threw up. So
Yeah.
it was that banana.
You got to eat more monkeys and bananas.
Exactly.
See? Oh my gosh. Now, would you go back and do it again?
Absolutely not.
When did this race start? What time of day?
4 a.m.
Yeah, 4 a.m. and you finished when?
Oh man. 38 and a half hours later.
Oh my
Sometime
God.
on Sunday. So one of my mindset tricks is for like the 100-mile distance, I tell myself, all right, I'm going to be running all day, all night, and part of the next day.
Mhm.
And then for this race, I'm like, let's just tack on a little bit of time. I'm going to run all day, all night, and then most of the next day.
Yeah.
Or all of the next day. And I kind of knew, all right, you're going to be out there for this long. And however long it takes, you're just going to be out there going. And it's also kind of like at one point of the race, it was about not halfway yet, just before halfway. I was trying to figure out when I was going to pick up a pacer. I only had 2 pacers. I was hoping for 3, but no, it worked out with 2. I just ran extra by myself before I picked someone up. But I was doing the mental gymnastics, the ultrarunner math coming into the start finish line. And when the race directors was like, you need to, like, she heard me talking. She's like, no, you need to just stop with your math right now. Like, all ultra runners are bad at math, and you're probably going to be wrong, or whatever it was she said. And I know that, but it's funny to hear that come from her. And she was like, you're going to be done running when we tell you you're going to be done running.
It sounds like they have really great support. And I think, like, I always tell Trent Swanson that I hate his course because it's sandy and it's flat. But I tell you what, he's got some of the best aid stations I've ever seen, some of the best volunteers I've ever seen. Sometimes, you can deal with a shitty course if you've got some really, really great people around you. So it sounds like he had that.
Yes. Yeah. The people at the aid stations, they were amazing. And it being a small grassroots race, everybody seemed to know everyone. And being an outsider coming in from Pittsburgh, they were all very welcoming and excited that I was there. And, so it was really nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I'm excited. Congratulations on your finish. Being first overall finisher is huge. And
so you got that buckle. You got that finisher's buckle. Did you get anything else for being first?
Yeah, I got it's still out of state because my in-laws are going to drive it in and around Thanksgiving time. But because I didn't want to fly with it, it's a huge. I think it's in the video thumbnail maybe, but it's like a huge picture frame. It has the course map. And it's in like Lord of the Rings style. And it says first female overall, but really it should just say first overall. It's literally so cool. And I love it. I can't wait to hang it up.
Yeah. It's pretty cool looking. It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's really big. Yeah.
And Don asked in the chat, was smoke from the forest fires an issue? Because I believe they have forest fires in Canada, right?
No, there was no issue with forest fires.
Oh, that's good.
No. Yeah, it was a beautiful day. I think the high got to be 87, which that's pretty good, and that doesn't bother me because typically I run in the afternoon anyway. Yeah,
that's not too bad. And you're used to the humidity that we have spread across Pennsylvania and the Midwest.
Yes.
What kind of mileage is you getting during a normal week right now?
Oh boy. I'm on the lower end. I think my max is probably around 70. Yep. Don't do too much. So I work from home, just, running my 2 businesses. So I'm a licensed professional counselor, and then on the side, I'm a mindset and mental wellness coach for ultrarunners, and I do both of those things. And I watch my 5-year-old all day, and then of course I work with Kyle Krantz's run coaching clients all day too. So I'm like juggling all these things. I'm really grateful that, Kyle is able to program my runs so that they're very high quality, and I can still be exhausted at the end of a training block and then be able to transfer it over to a race like I do.
Nice. Oh, well, definitely plug real quick where people can find you if they're interested in any of those services, mindset coaching. I mean, it's huge right now.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
Yeah. So on Facebook, I have finishstrongermindsetcoaching.com. My Instagram handle is bshortrunultra. Same with X, bshortrunultra. YouTube is Shannon bshortrunultra. Basically anything bshortrunultra or Finish Stronger Mindset Coaching, you're gonna find me.
Fabulous. And does that have anything to do with your height?
Yes. Yep. I'm 4'11" and a half.
Ah, you are.
Yeah, we know from other fans of the show, you can be short and still be a very strong runner. You can be tall and be a strong runner. So it's awesome that you get to represent the short people community.
Yeah, it's funny whenever I'm doing races and I see like the other short women. It was either Burning River or Mohican. There was one like short lady running with me for a little bit. And we were talking about how much effort it is for us to just go over a tree that fell on the trail.
Yeah.
And the fact that like literally if we're running with anyone else, it's like 2 of our steps for every one of their step. And I know it's like that when I'm running with my husband sometimes. Like it's more. We should get more credit than we do.
Yeah. Laura makes fun of me every time I have to get over a tree because I have to like climb over it and she just kind of steps. I have a longer torso, but I have short little legs. And even though I'm 5'4", and I like to think that my short legs is why my power hiking skills are not what they should be. And then I power hike with people who are even shorter than me, and they're so much stronger, and I have no excuses. I just need to train more. That's what needs to happen. Because Kieran beats me. Marisa, that's all right. I have other talents.
Okay, it's okay. Relax.
I have other talents, Eric.
That's right. I know. We know.
So, Shannon, that's very cool that that you get to dabble in running like full time. And I think it's a good testament to the skills that you've probably learned along the way and then put into place for yourself, that you just tackle these really challenging races that are mentally challenging. I love that. I think that's really cool. I like to do a little bit of that myself. It's super fun to just take something that sounds terrible and go for it. And so what do you have on your schedule next that sounds terrible that you're doing?
I am taking the rest of the year off. Okay. Next year I'm thinking Laurel Highlands Ultra and then Oil Creek 100.
Nice.
So a summer race and then a fall race. Call that good.
I love Laurel Highlands. I think it's beautiful. I haven't done Oil Creek yet.
I love Oil Creek. I think it's a great one.
Yeah. Great
Oil
choices.
Creek, really hard one.
Yeah. Laurel Highlands, I mean, it's beautiful. So that one, the Laurel Highlands, I think, is hard to finish on time because when I was in it, like I kept stopping to take pictures. And I had to be like, I need to not stop anymore and actually run this race because I'm never going to finish if I don't quit stopping taking photos and videos.
Yes, that is one boundary I've set for myself. It's like, all right, if you're going to get out your phone at all, you can only take like so many, and then you put it away and you keep going. It's like, don't let that be the thing that's making you chase the cutoff times, because then you're going to be miserable and scared.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh.
Now,
well, Grace, go ahead.
I have one more question. I have one more. Okay, so for anyone out there who's tackling big, mentally tough races, what advice do you have for them?
Don't stop.
Yeah, really. No, really, just like challenge that inner voice, and whatever it is holding you back, and just say, no, we're going to do this. You can do this. You know, dig into training, past races, experiences. Because a lot of the times we find that we've been through really hard things in life in general as well. You can do a whatever race that you want to do. Just show up, like prepare for it. You know, of course you gotta prepare for it, and then show up, and then just do it. Have fun as well.
Just do it.
I love that.
Just do it. Yeah.
Have fun, and I think that is important to think. Like most of us have been through some pretty tough stuff, you know.
And Barry Main, he just said, like, if you have a problem, don't think about it. So if your ankle is broken, just don't think about it. If your bone's sticking out of your leg, just don't
think about it.
Right. That's one of my favorite runs, or my favorite phrases. If the bone ain't showing, keep going. And I literally had to deal with that at this race. And also, like, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. That's another one I really go into, because I'd never run 124 miles before, and I didn't know what to expect from the pain cave. I know I've been in a lot of pain before, but what happens after you get past 100 miles? Well, I don't know. So I found out that I have like 4 levels of pain cave probably, and I kind of just dealt with them all the same. But I felt myself getting injured, and now I actually am a little bit injured. I'll probably be running in like 2 weeks from now, just to be safe.
Yeah,
just to be safe, right?
Yeah.
So I can't fully bend or straighten my leg right now.
Details.
I'm fine. So it was, I don't know. It was well over halfway into the race, and I noticed like the sand was hurting my knee, and started feeling like runner's knee. And it was only when I was walking in the sand, you know, the tank traps. And then, you know, as the race went on, it started kind of really wearing on me. And then I learned after 150K that it was me and then one other guy, Rob, shirtless Rob, they called him, because he wasn't wearing a shirt. So shirtless Rob was behind me. However, my leg was getting slightly worse. But, you know, Michael was back pacing me at that time. And we went ahead and talked about, what's your number one goal for this race? And I said to finish first place. Like I went from just a 200K run to nope. I learned that Rob's right behind me, and I have this really great opportunity to put myself out there and run the best that I can for that last loop.
Yeah.
Even though my leg was starting to get in kind of bad shape. But I needed to maintain a certain pace to stay ahead of Rob, because he was fast, even though I had heard his hip flexors were hurting. But someone gave him trekking poles, and he was able to kind of stay on top of me, you know, and I heard he was kind of also motivated to come after me, because he was originally going from loop 7 to 8, 30 minutes behind me. And then they kicked him out at the start and finish aid station 15 minutes sooner. So then it
Okay.
closed the gap to 15 minutes. And I was just unsure. So, Michael and I took off and
Mhm.
we ran as much and as fast as we could until I basically said, all right, I can't push my leg anymore like this because I am at the point of injury. And by then we were like, what are we going to do? And I said, okay, well, I'm going to let me take the lead. I feel like I can run. I'll run. I like half-heartedly jogged like all I could get out of my body for a couple of seconds. And then we just hiked in the last 5K, 10K, whatever it was of the race. And that was enough time for me to stay ahead. But at that point in the race, that mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. I will heal later. Right now, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm focusing on. The 100K distance. Now, I did not expect to start flipping my mindset. So it was very surprising, but I decided with Rob behind me that it was no longer a 200K race. It was a 16-mile race. Like 15.6 miles or so left. So I told myself it's 16-mile race at this point. You can run 16 miles. You can race 16 miles. So let's, kick it in and try to stay ahead. Because I didn't know how he was doing or, anything like that. But that was a lot of fun to kind of play that game and to make sure that I stayed up there.
Yeah. That's a cool way to think about it. This is now a 15-mile race. I really like that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's a huge accomplishment. And, if the bone ain't showing, keep going. So.
Yeah. Oh man. And the hallucinations too.
Gosh.
I usually don't, have them too bad or too much. I didn't sleep at all the night before, so I was excited. So on zero sleep, I started hallucinating sometime at the night, and then they didn't even stop until I was across the finish line.
Wow.
I just remember like going up one of the last sandy climbs at the finish, seeing buses and a warehouse and a house and a red and white billboard just in the woods and like all this stuff. It was just, oh man.
That's pretty wild. That is quite an adventure. I think you might be enticing some people to head out to Illinois for their next race.
Yes. Yeah. If anybody wants a challenge on this super funky little course, it's
a cool distance. That's a very cool distance.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a good one to go out and test yourself on.
Eric, put on your list.
Okay. It's on there. I'm done.
All right. So Shannon, we always wrap ourselves up by asking, what do you got planned for this weekend?
I'm like looking at my calendar on the wall. Nothing.
Good.
Nice.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I like having nothing planned, especially when I've just been traveling.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's good to calm it all down a little bit. Eric, how about you? What do you have going on this weekend?
I'm going to echo what she said, and pretty much nothing exciting worth mentioning. I know.
Amazing.
September is open for me. Yeah, I like it. Other than some cross-country meets coming up on the weekends. But yeah, this week, just enjoying the weather. Nice. About you, Grace, what are you doing this weekend?
I have no plans. I might end up doing some stuff, but
Are you going to hang out with the poor Hubs again? Like, you got to give him a break. One weekend's enough.
I know. He's going to get sick of me if he sees me 2 weekends in a row,
Well, I'm sure we'll come out. At least Grace, you and I will have something to talk about next Monday of what we got into. hopefully.
Yeah, well, thankfully we have a great guest coming on. That is Georgetta Frederick, who just this summer finished up a through hike of the Appalachian Trail and also finished her first hundo at Pine Creek. So be sure to tune in next Monday and every Monday at 7:30 Eastern and listen to all our awesome guests and like and subscribe and comment and feed the algorithm monster all of your stuff.
Matters. No one, they don't feed the monster enough. The monster doesn't get fed enough.
Yeah, it's getting skinny. That's okay.
Shannon, thank you so much for giving us your time and being on to talk about your amazing story. You should be very proud of that. It's pretty awesome, and I'm sure it was hard, and I enjoyed hearing it. I will say you have the most awesome name ever. I don't know. It's like Shannon Mick, short and sweet. It's like, I don't know. I'm Shannon Mick, you know?
It's a pretty cool name.
I like my name. Thanks.
Shannon, thanks for coming on. You're amazing. Thank you for telling your story. And thanks everybody for listening in.
Bye.
Take us out, Grace.
Bye.